Just witnessed Eala winning the gold medal in the singles for the Philippines over at the Southeast Asia Games. It's the biggest medal that she's won in one of these team events. She has made a semi-final at this event a couple of years ago, and also at the Asia Games she did well as well, winning a bronze medal there. But let's have a look at what this actually means in terms of Philippines tennis at this tournament. So going over on Twitter and looking at the Philippine Sports Commission, they've put out a post saying the Golden Smash. Eala opens the Philippines Golden Campaign in today's 33rd Southeast Asia Games in Thailand after dominating local bet Sawangkyu 6-1-6-2 in the women's tennis singles.
Coco Gauff just gave a public shout-out to someone most casual tennis fans probably don't even know. And honestly, that says a lot about what's going on in women's tennis right now. Alexandra Eala just capped off a ridiculous medal haul at the SEA Games, and while mainstream sports media barely batted an eye, one of the biggest names in tennis made sure she got the recognition she deserved. Now here's the thing, why does this moment matter so much? My question for you, when was the last time you saw a top-ranked player hyping someone outside the usual tennis bubble? This isn't just a congratulatory post, it's a statement, a spotlight on the future of the game.
The Indonesians have won 2 gold medals so far in this event, with the Philippines winning that gold medal through Eala. Thailand have won 3 silver medals, including the medal today for the runner-up. And then the bronze medals actually go to the players who lose in the semis. So there's actually 2 bronze medals up for grabs in the semifinals. And the events that they've actually had are a little bit different to the Olympics as well, with the women's team event going to Indonesia, the men's team event also going to Indonesia. And then we've got those traditional events that we know with the mixed doubles, men's, women's, doubles, and then the singles as well. So it's a little bit different to the Olympics, the way that they do things. There's no playoff for third place or anything like that. But with the Philippines getting a medal, it's the first gold medal at the tennis that they've won. But it's the first time since 1999 that they've won a gold medal in the women's singles. So Eala's rewriting history. Before Eala was even born, was the last time that somebody won a gold medal in this category of the Southeast Asia Games. So again, just like she's been doing all year, Eala rewriting some history and becoming the first woman to win a gold medal since Maricruz Fernandez back in 1999 in the women's singles for the Philippines.
Alexandra Eala just posted her SEA Games medal haul on Instagram with the caption, "For the Philippines and for the Filipinos, I will go home with souvenirs in tow." And sitting right there in the comments, Coco Gauff, 3 red hearts and a simple congratulations. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking this is just a generic celebrity comment, let me break down why this is actually huge. First off, who is Alexandra Eala? If you're a casual tennis fan in America or Europe, chances are you have no clue, and that's exactly why Coco's shout-out matters. Alexandra Eala is a 19-year-old Filipino tennis player grinding on the challenger circuit and lower-level WTA events, trying to break into mainstream professional tennis. She's not top 50, she's not raking in massive endorsement deals, she's not getting prime-time ESPN coverage. But what did she just accomplish at the SEA Games? Absolutely insane.
History again for Eala, and winning the gold medal, huge for her and for the Philippines again. They're also having an event next year in the Philippines, mainly probably because of Eala's success at the end of January in Manila. So not only does Eala get to celebrate the season that that has made her with a gold medal, but she also gets to celebrate possibly next year by playing at home in January. Now, it's during the Australian Open, in the second half of the Australian Open, so it will depend on whether or not she actually does well in Melbourne. If she makes the second week, she won't be going to play a challenger, she'll be playing a quarterfinal of a Grand Slam. So she's got to just, depending on her results, whether or not she participates there. But the WTA bringing an event to Manila is huge as well. So not only with the success here at the Southeast Asia Games and a great season all round for Eala.
The Southeast Asian Games aren't the Olympics. They're not Wimbledon. They're a regional multi-sport event most Western sports fans haven't even heard of. But for athletes from that region, these games are massive. They represent national pride, regional dominance, and a chance to compete for your country in a way that actually means something to millions back home. And Alexandra Eala, she didn't just show up, she dominated. Multiple medals, multiple events. She basically put on a masterclass in what it means to represent your country with excellence. Now, here's where Coco Gauff's comment gets interesting. But Coco isn't just anyone. She's top-tier women's tennis, massive sponsorships, a household name, someone whose season recaps and reflections people actually read. She's operating on a completely different level than Alexandra Eala. So why take the time to publicly acknowledge someone who's not even close to her ranking or her usual competition? Because Coco gets something that a lot of top athletes forget. Tennis is global. Not everyone's path looks the same. Alexandra isn't American. She's not training at a fancy Florida academy with unlimited resources. She's representing the Philippines, a country without a deep history of producing top-level tennis stars. The fact that she's competing professionally at all is an achievement. Winning medals while representing her country successfully, that's remarkable, and Coco recognized that. And context matters. Coco just reflected on her 2025 season, posting honestly about the ups, the downs, the disappointments, and the wins. She showed gratitude, humility, and awareness that professional sports aren't just highlight reels and trophies. That mindset, that's exactly why she notices and celebrates someone like Alexandra Eala. Most top-ranked athletes live in a bubble. Their world revolves around the next tournament, the next ranking point, the next endorsement deal. They're so locked in on their own grind that the broader tennis ecosystem barely registers. And honestly, you can't blame them. The demands of being a top pro are absolutely brutal. Every day for top players like Coco Gauff is non-stop. Training, recovery, travel, media obligations, and sponsor commitments. There's barely time to keep track of your own schedule, let alone notice what a challenger-level player is doing halfway across the world at a regional competition. But Coco made time. She saw Alexandra Eala, she read about the medal haul, and she decided that achievement deserved recognition. That's not just being nice, it's leadership. It's understanding that the health of professional tennis depends on inspiring the next generation from every corner of the globe, not just the players who come from the traditional mold of Western tennis families with deep pockets.
Now, let's get real about what Alexandra Eala is actually dealing with. The Philippines isn't exactly a tennis powerhouse. The infrastructure, funding, coaching, and clear pathways from junior to professional tennis just aren't there the way they are in the US, Spain, France, or Australia. Players like Eala have to fight for every opportunity, every sponsorship dollar, every chance to compete at a higher level, all while carrying the weight of being a pioneer for their country. When she wins medals at the SEA Games, she's not just winning for herself. She's proven to every young Filipino kid picking up a racket that it's possible to compete internationally. She's validating the coaches and families investing time and resources into developing tennis talent in a region where other sports dominate. She's creating a pathway where none existed before. That's pressure, that's responsibility, and that's exactly why recognition from someone like Coco matters so much. Coco's comment sends a powerful message. Alexandra's work is being noticed by the best in the world. It tells young Filipino players that tennis is bigger than Grand Slams or top 10 rankings. It tells the entire tennis community that success comes in many forms, and regional dominance deserves celebration just as much as winning a Masters 1000 event. That's the kind of perspective that elevates the entire sport. Here's the truth most top athletes won't admit. They probably wouldn't have even seen Eala's post. Their social media is managed, their engagement is strategic, and every comment, like, or share is calculated to maintain brand value. Genuine, spontaneous recognition of someone outside your immediate circle? That's rare. That's being human. That's understanding that sports are about more than personal success. Coco has always been different. Even when she burst onto the scene as a teenager, beating Venus Williams at Wimbledon, she carried herself with maturity and awareness beyond her years. She talked about representation, inspiring the next generation, and using her platform responsibly, and she meant it. Moments like this comment prove she's lived up to those words. And here's what it shows about women's tennis right now. The sport is more global than ever. Players are emerging from countries that historically produced zero professionals. The WTA Tour is seeing more diversity in nationalities, backgrounds, and pathways to success. That growth only continues if top players actively encourage it. When Coco publicly celebrates Alexandra's success, she's doing more than being kind. She's helping normalize tennis as a truly global sport, showing that you don't need to come from traditional tennis breeding grounds to earn respect, and that matters. Now, some people might say, it's just a comment. Why make such a big deal out of 3 red hearts? And on the surface, they wouldn't be wrong. Coco didn't write a 5-paragraph essay about Alexandra Eala. She didn't fund a tennis academy in Manila. She didn't invite Eala to train with her. It was literally a quick Instagram comment. But context is everything. In a world where top athletes often don't acknowledge anyone outside their immediate competitive circle, even a small gesture carries weight. Think about how Eala probably felt seeing that comment. She's grinding on the challenger circuit, trying to break through, battling limited resources and recognition, and then one of the biggest names in tennis stops and publicly congratulates her. That's validation. That's fuel. That's a reminder that the work she's putting in matters, and it's being noticed. Those small moments can be the difference between pushing through the tough times and feeling like giving up because nobody cares. Here's another layer. Coco doesn't need to do this for her brand. She's already beloved, already successful, already stacked with opportunities she may never even fully tap into. Commenting on Eala's post doesn't move the needle for her career at all. If anything, it costs her time and mental energy she could be spending on her own training. The fact that she did it anyway, that's genuine, that's real, not some calculated PR move. Contrast that with how other top athletes operate. Plenty of elite players never interact with anyone outside the top 20 unless forced at a tournament. They don't follow lower-ranked players on social media. They don't comment on their achievements. They barely acknowledge their existence. And sure, you can't fully blame them. They're laser-focused on their own careers. But that insular approach creates a hierarchy within the sport, making it harder for emerging players to feel like they belong in the same ecosystem. Coco's approach is different. She seems to genuinely see tennis as a collective ecosystem where everyone's success lifts the sport. When players from non-traditional countries succeed, it expands tennis globally. When regional competitions get recognition, it validates the development happening outside the main tour. And when top players acknowledge that work publicly, it creates a feedback loop that encourages more growth. That's not just feel-good fluff. That's how you build a sustainable, truly global sport. Representation matters too. Coco Gauff is a Black American woman who broke through in a sport historically dominated by white and Eurocentric structures. She knows what it's like to be an outlier. She knows the power of visibility, acknowledgement, and support. And that's exactly why a simple comment on Alexandra Eala's post carries so much weight. She knows what it's like to carry the weight of representation. She knows what it means when someone at the top acknowledges and validates your presence. That lived experience probably makes her more attuned to recognizing similar dynamics in other players' careers. Alexandra Eala is facing her own version of that. She's a Filipino woman trying to make it in professional tennis, representing a country with almost no deep tennis tradition, working with far fewer resources than most of her competitors. The parallels aren't exact, but they're close enough that Coco probably sees a bit of her own journey in Eala's story, and that empathy translated into a simple but incredibly meaningful gesture of recognition. Now let's tackle the cynical take. Some people will inevitably say it's just performative, it's social media nonsense, it doesn't actually help Eala's career. And yeah, there's always a sliver of truth to cynicism about celebrity social media interactions, but dismissing this entirely misses the point. Does one Instagram comment directly improve Eala's ranking? Nope. Does it get her into better tournaments? Not immediately. Does it provide material support or resources? No. But does it contribute to a culture within tennis that values and recognizes diverse pathways to success? Absolutely.
Coco Gauff just reminded everyone that greatness isn't only about climbing higher, it's about lifting others along the way. While Alexandra Eala dominated the CEA Games, one of the biggest stars in tennis made sure the world noticed. That's what real leadership looks like. If you appreciate athletes who actually understand the bigger picture, smash that like button and subscribe. We need more of this energy in sports, period.